With holiday decor and holiday cheer. I'm here, you're here, but Nancy has gone home. I got the two wise men and the wisest man in the middle, myself. Here are us three wise men. But how many wise men are in Congress currently? Drop in the comments below how many wise men you currently think are in Congress. The possible choices are less than three, because there's only three wise men. But here we go. We see zero from James, zero, 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 nones from the other James. And I'm going live in Instagram, and Roy says zero, and then Danielle says none. Apparently, there are no wise men anywhere in Congress, but you have three today on Holidays LALATE, our midday holiday show that gives you about 10 minutes of updates about stimulus, and there are some big updates. Wow. And then we will get to some holiday decor. If I don't drop it halfway through the set, through the taping. So now with that opening done, thank you for joining me with 500 people in joining as we go live. Thank you for having us part of your house as Holidays LA took a break for 2 days. So thank you that we are back in full force and really full force with 500 people here. This is your second stimulus check and second stimulus package update for midday Thursday. We are currently live on the West Coast about 12:30 Pacific Standard Time, and we're being simulcast in Instagram and live on youtube.com /LALATE. And the breaking details today is this. Let's see if I can hold it up to the screen. There you go. And I'll hold it up to the Instagram screen. It's a bill. The significance of a bill. And I don't mean, I don't mean Walton. I don't mean Walton. I mean an actual bill. Uh, it is surprising. It is surprising that I think the last time we have actually had a bill in stimulus written is March. Do you know that everything between Nancy and Steve never had a bill? There was never a bill written between Nancy and Steve ever. There was nothing ever written as a bill in the by the problem solvers. They never wrote a bill. There was never. Well, oh no, I take it back. Mitch wrote bills. Mitch did write bills. And then Nancy wrote some bills, but that doesn't really count. So between Nancy and Mitch, this is the first time we've had anything decent. It's a standalone bill. It's a standalone bill. So this is the first standalone bill since Carolyn Maloney. Remember Carolyn Maloney? That's when I had spikier hair. It's not that spiky today. But remember Carolyn Maloney, who wrote the standalone bill for the post office? And we're like, Caroline, sweet Caroline, why can't you write a standalone bill for stimulus? No, I got to write one for chasing the postman around. That's more important. And her standalone bill was, how long was it? You remember? Was it drop in the comments below if you've been a long-time viewer, if you remember how long Caroline Maloney's standalone bill was for the postman when they flew back from their luxury resorts to vote on the postman on a weekend. Do you remember how many pages that standalone bill was? Do you remember how long? Not too long, says Tracy. Too long. It was one page, says Marcel. Marcel Andrew says one page. Absolutely. It was half a page, Lisa. Absolutely. It was a page to a half a page. That's all it was. And it got every single member of the House of Representatives in session for one page. So here is Josh Hawley's bill. It actually says his name, Mr. Hawley, introduced the following bill. And it's called the Emergency Direct Payments for Families and Workers Act of 2020. I don't know what that's going to stand for. It's going to be EDPFPWA. The EDFPWA, no, I'm not going to say that. It's just too hard to remember. It's a standalone bill, and it's for a stimulus check. It's a standalone bill for a stimulus check. Now, I'm going to say something really sort of, how do you say it? I'm going to say something blunt, and so I'm going to say it in the politest way. I've always said that there's so many different viewers on this channel have different interests, and some are single moms, some are immigrants, some are resident non-citizens, some are small business owners. Some are adult dependent, some are minor dependent, some are children, some are minor children. So there's always going to be something that doesn't help someone else. Always going to be something that doesn't help someone else. And this potentially does not help some viewers, but helps a lot of viewers. So let me go over what it is. It's a standalone bill for a $1,200 stimulus check. It's a standalone bill for a $1,200 stimulus check. Yes, finally someone has wrote a standalone bill for a stimulus check and actually had the to write it. It's an actual bill. It's not a memo. It's not a press release. It's actually a standalone bill for $1,200 stimulus check. Someone with brain, yeah, someone actually. And so I want to give the person some respect before we start to tear it apart, because we shouldn't tear it apart, because this is someone who actually took the time to write something. The Christmas things. Yeah, he actually had the Christmas things to write the bill. And so if there's problems with it, you deal with the problems. But no one in this whole group has ever written anything. All they do is talk with the press releases and the posters. You see Nancy with her poster today? I wonder how much that poster costs. Poster probably costs $200. Probably costs $500 for that poster. Probably costs the price of a dependence check. So Josh wrote the bill, $1,200, all a stimulus check. Yes. $500 for children. Yes. So is there something wrong in the bill? The way you read the bill, and I'm going to say it right now, I'm 50-50. I can't tell for reading the bill, but it looks potentially like adult dependents would not get a stimulus check. Sort of not clear. I don't think he intends to do that, but it sort of potentially looks like. When I'm saying sort of, I mean it's really unclear. Sort of looks like perhaps adult dependents don't get a stimulus check, but really not clear. So is that something that needs to be fixed? If that's the case, sure, absolutely needs to stay fixed. But if that's an error, he fixes it. The point is that he wrote the bill, and we got something to start with. And so finally, we got someone saying $1,200. We don't have someone saying $200. We don't have someone saying $600. And then we actually have someone who wrote something. And then if there's something that needs to be fixed, it fixes. So I know there's like this happening with some viewers right now. Fix it ASAP, said Joe. Yeah, fix it ASAP. I got it. So, something, we're constantly in mode of fixing these people. Fixing these people. They all need to be fixed. You just don't procreate. That's another channel. $600 was a real problem with these people. They just kept on wanting to do $600. And then they didn't want to do zero. Then they said there's no money. Now we got a bill. And so we're at a starting point. So let me tell you what's going on with Congress. There's 1,300 people in the room now. My goodness. As you sit here today, this is where Congress is currently. First, let me explain what in session means versus not in session. It's one of the most confusing terms ever on this channel. What does in session mean? In session means the floor of the Congress where they vote is open. The floor of the Congress where they vote is open. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean that they're in town. When you say in session, doesn't mean that they're in town. It means that the floor of the Congress where they vote is open. Now, are subcommittees are subcommittees have anything to be in session? No, subcommittees have nothing to do with in session. In session, it means the floor where they vote is open. So when they're not in session, what does that mean? Does that mean they're out of town? No. Not in session doesn't mean they're out of town. It just means they're not, the door is locked. They're not voting on something today. So you getting me so far? So guess what Nancy did? Nancy heard my videos about her hair. Didn't like it. And so last night she went and got an extension. Nancy decided she didn't like to talk about her hair, so she went and got an extension. She went for an extension, and so there's Nancy with the extension, so that's what Nancy did last night. She called the House for a vote and said, should I have an extension? And they said, well, that hair is just So they said, yeah, let's do an extension. You need an extension, Nancy. You need extensions. Yeah. So let's do it. So the House voted for an extension. So Nancy got extension. Nancy got an extension. Yeah, it's just so throw the wig away. No more wigs. We're now doing extension. So that was the House. So then it goes to the Senate, and it lands in the Senate. If you saw me last night say, or this morning, I said, okay, what's going to happen with Mitch? Is Mitch going to get extension? I can't imagine Mitch with an extension. Can you imagine Mitch with an extension? Ooh, really interesting look. I mean, even the lobsters would be clawing at that one. Just what does Mitch with an extension look like? And so Mitch got the extension, and he did not do it yet. So Mitch is still not doing an extension. I thought I was going to wake up this morning and hear Mitch did the extension. So at the moment, I guess he's doing sort of the pull over, the comb over. Mitch is doing the comb over for the moment being. He's not yet doing an extension. He is waiting to decide whether to do an extension. He's just doing comb over for now, and and that's why Josh Hawley came and said, "I got a bill." I got a bill. It's sitting on top of Capitol Hill, and it's only a bill, but I'm going to introduce it and see where it goes. And so he did it and introduced the bill. Now, what did Nancy then do after she got her extension? What would anyone else do after they get extension? Go to lunch? Go to lunch with the girls and just talk about who's cute in the Senate. Yeah, that's basically what she did. Nancy put the House on recess. What, Nancy? Yes, Nancy put the House on recess. Today's Thursday, by the way. It's not Friday. I keep on forgetting what day of the week it is. But Nancy put the House on recess. So House is on recess till Monday. I don't know what's happening tomorrow that they had to just sort of take an early day off. So the House of Representatives, which works so hard, they work so hard for you, are taking a 3-day weekend. So they're gone now, and they're on recess, and they will be back on Monday. So there you go. Nancy is back on recess because it's just a hard life, and so she's taking a break till Monday. So what is going to happen now with Mitch? Really hard to predict. Mitch said the following. This is the only really, in addition to this is the other thing that was really good news today. Mitch said, I saw the moderates bill, the bill by the Manchin family. The Manchin family includes Romney and the prom creators. The Manchin family and the prom creators sounds like a Lifetime movie, doesn't it? The Manchin family and the prom creators. He finally referred to that bill today, and he said, "I reject it. I reject it." So I forgot, it's not a bill, it's a memo. I can't refer to it as a bill. It's a memo. So the problem creators and the Manchin family, their memo, which there's 7 of them. How many are there? 10 of them? I just know that there's a lot of them. They have not taken the time to type. So typing is a really difficult task for a congressional leader. So they have not typed anything. And so Mitch said, I am not agreeing to that memo. So the memo is gone. So the memo is never going to see light of day in the Senate. And you know what? It could never see light of day in the Senate because no one reduced it to a bill. To make it even stranger is that the problem creators thing never became a bill. So there's nothing to call for a vote because it never became a bill. So as you sit here today, Mitch actually doesn't have a bill. Problem creators never had a bill. Josh has a bill. So if you're joining me right now with 1,800 people in the room, where we are today is that Josh Hawley, the senator out of Missouri, the Republican from the state of Missouri, who has been speaking with the president nearly every single day since Saturday. Did you hear? Someone just joined in the room and said, "Did you hear that Josh has a bill?" Yeah, I heard it from that guy on LALATE. He just said about 14 minutes ago in this video. So I just love it. Someone just joins, walks in the room. Hey, did you hear that Josh has a bill? Yeah, LALATE just said it like about 14 minutes and 53 seconds earlier in this video. Josh actually wrote the bill and he introduced it, and it's in the Senate. And this is the actual only bill that we've had in 7 or 8 days. Mitch does not have a bill. The Manchin family doesn't have a bill. The Romney, the mitt and the mitten of Romney doesn't have a bill. And there you go. It is a junk show, as Marcia says. No one has a typewriter. No one has a pen and paper. They have crayons. So no one took the time to write anything. Really surprising. So what's going to happen today? I don't wait. Who's Josh? Chuck Holt just said, "Wait, who's Josh? I'm trying to keep up with this cast of characters. Who's Josh? Does anyone in the Instagram do?" So we're live simulcast in Instagram. No one knows who Josh is. It's like, I'm just trying to keep up with Nancy and is this a new character they cast on? Is this like the it's the ratings of the show are down, so they're trying to save Melrose Place. So they bring in Josh in the final episode. Josh is the person who slept with Victoria Principal and died before Bobby Ewing crashed in the car in the final episode. So there's a new cast member who just came back in. Josh is the new cast member in the saga of your stimulus. Josh is the senator who talks to Donald Trump a lot, literally like every day. The president really likes Josh, and that's really good. Someone actually, the president likes someone, and Josh likes the president. So amen. And they have really not been inconsistent. They've been very consistent. Josh said the president wants to do $1,200 to $2,000 stimulus checks. All the videos of this channel came from Josh because Josh says the president wants to do $1,200 to $2,000 stimulus checks. He goes to the president. He's talked to him again. He says, "Press the president, veto anything unless there's a stimulus check." You keep on talking about Josh. Someone says, "You just keep on talking about Josh." Who do you want me to talk about, Nancy? Nancy has absolutely been inconsistent, this entire week. The reporting today said the Democrats, this was actually a major news article, said the Democrats support the moderates bill. No, they don't. Senator Harris, Senator Warren, Senator Sanders, AOC, it was upwards of 10 to 12 Democrats in the House and Senate wrote a letter saying we do not support the moderates bill. So it is literally a soap opera. So if you're just joining me right now, Josh, who is the new cast member on Melrose Place, has Washington Place or DC Place, has now created a turmoil by coming in as a Republican saying, "I'm going to get out a stimulus check." And the problem with the stimulus check proposal is potentially, if you read it, but it's really not clear, that maybe adult dependents may not get a stimulus check. Now, let me talk about that because I was going to start with that. Is that your adult dependents, way back when in July, you will recall that I made a ton of videos where I said, you remember my expression then was, "I don't want to hear about the donut man." Who is the donut man? Drop in the comments if you remember who is the donut man I use as a analogy on this channel. The donut man in regards to stimulus. Drop a yes or no if you remember who the donut man was, and I advise you not to be the donut man. Let's see if anyone remembers that from back then. Wow, there's a lot of... Michelle says yes. Someone said no. Instagram Frozen says yes. Teresa says no. Patricia says no. So Ernestine says yes, and Diane says yes. So the donut man was the analogy I used of a man who says, the stimulus check hasn't been sent out, so just tell me. I'll just tell you when the stimulus check arrives in my bank account. Just tell me when it's on the way. And I'm having my donut. And I used to say it's a guy who sits in a reclining chair with his feet up, is watching Seinfeld, and says, "I'm busy watching Seinfeld, so I'm having my donut. Tell me when the check is on the way." And I said, "Don't be the donut man, because you may have to do a non-filer filing." I said the non-filer filing may be required for you to ensure you get the stimulus check. And if you don't do the non-filer filing, you may not get the stimulus check. And you may have to do something else. The IRS needs to know where you are. They need to know how much money you made in 2019 to ensure you get a stimulus check. And sometimes there's an extra step. And I said, don't be that person. And I specifically said in the context of people who don't file tax returns because they don't have to. And so what may be the issue with Josh's thing is that you may have to get a rush on file tax return if you did not file a tax return. Don't do it yet. I'm not telling you to do it yet. I'm going to give the following examples. There was a wonderful viewer I had in July who dropped in the comments, and I said them on air in July, that back in March, she knew that that her girlfriends and her, who are all senior citizens, had not filed tax returns because they didn't have to. I'm on file for you right now to ensure that you get your stimulus check. So she went around to all her 5 girlfriends who are all senior citizens, don't make any money, they're all retired, and said, I'm just going to get the document on file with the IRS to ensure you get your stimulus check. She did it. They all got stimulus checks. And I said, amen. That's what I want you to ensure about, is you may have to do that to make sure you get the stimulus check. And so that might be the case for Josh's bill. But Josh's bill has not been called to a vote. We don't know if it's going to be called to a vote. But he is literally everywhere. He's booking talk shows more often than Nancy. So let's do it, Josh. So there you go. Now, as to the overall CR, what's going to happen today? It's really hard to predict. So the CR was extended by the House. It has not been extended by the Senate. The deadline is the 11th. You know what day today is. So will Mitch extend it today? He hasn't done it yet. I would assume he would. But it's very peculiar what's going on here. So there you go. We will potentially know in the next hour or two what Mitch is going to do with the CR extension. This is what I say. This is my position. Tell me if you say yes or no, if you agree with me or no. Yes, I agree, or no, you don't agree. I believe it's still stimulus checks or shutdown. I think you should tell Mitch and the senators across the map, don't do an extension. Shut it down. Don't do an extension. Yes, I agree. 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 So there you go. Get on Twitter and make it very clear to Mitch, don't do an extension. If he doesn't do an extension, bam, shut down. Everyone is sort of sick and tired of Nancy and her games, and this might be the final time to say, hey, you got the message, Nancy. We did not do an extension, and we're going to shut it down. And, you know, it's as simple as that. You keep on not doing things that are rational. It's time to shut it down. And Instagram is saying the same thing. Sarah in Instagram, and Margie in Instagram, and Misharo Oria, beautiful name, in Instagram. No extensions. So everyone's saying yes as well. So what about Mitch? So basically, Mitch has to either call for a vote today whether he wants an extension, and if he doesn't, then the federal government shuts down on the 11th. I believe it's tomorrow, or Saturday. I guess it's Saturday at 12 a.m. or something like that. And I say shut it down. So the viewers are saying to shut it down. So it's time to get our fingers going on social media and make the message really loud and clear. There you go. Now let's turn to CARES Act 1. CARES Act 1. And by the way, so I will update you on afternoon check, which comes at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time, which is about 2 hours from now. I'll have the latest updates about Mitch, and then join me on Purple. which is taped, which will have big updates about your CARES Act 1 money, followed by Evening's Check, which may be the biggest show tonight. That may be because we'll know whether we're shutting down or not, followed by Purple Power Live. Purple Power Live, I answer your, I forgot being a bitch. Purple Power Live, which is at 7:30 Pacific Standard Time, I go over your questions about CARES Act 1. Being a Mitch, I go over your questions about UI, PUA, FPUC. All your unemployment is on Being a Mitch. All your CARES Act 1 questions um, are on Purple Power Live. So with that, does anyone have questions so far about what we've talked about, what I talked about for the CR? Don't you love when people say, what we talked about? Dude, you're the only one talking. Who else is talking here? Do you have any other questions? Do you have any questions as before we go to CARES Act 1? Multiple hairstyles to the stimulus package. I love that. Says my name. Say my name, Sam. Mitch is too old to say anything, to do anything, says Debbie. My goodness. When did the person who claims you as an adult dependent get your stimulus check? Yes, absolutely. If that person uh, didn't make a lot of money. So, for example, this is a bad situation. If you would have qualified for a stimulus check normally, but you're a dependent on a millionaire's tax return, you're not going to get a stimulus check because the millionaire doesn't get a stimulus check. So you don't want to be a stimulus. You don't want to be on someone else's tax return who makes too much money because their disqualification may disqualify you as well. Diane Van Steinstein did a bill. Oh, she did. I did not see that. Ice cream frozen parade. Congress Island. Vote them off. I love that. I heard that Mitch extended it. He had not extended it as a few minutes ago. You would have and I saw comments at 7 o'clock this morning. I heard it was extended. It was extended by the House. Sometimes when people hear stories about one body of Congress, they think it's the entire Congress. So there you go. Now let's get to some CARES Act 1 stuff. What's important to understand is for CARES Act 1, the community page now has 14 volunteers, I think. So the community page added 3 more volunteers overnight. So that's incredible. The volunteers are really wonderful. And what I've done with the community page is I've separated Instagram volunteers, Facebook volunteers, and Twitter volunteers. Because some of you are asking, I don't do Instagram, I do Facebook. I don't do Twitter, I do Instagram. And so I've separated them for you. These are the things I want you to understand. One, the volunteers are there to help you find things if you look and can't find them. So please first put the effort in to try to find it. And then if you can't find it, reach out to the volunteers. Two, don't post, let's say on Facebook, hi, can someone contact me? Because no one's looking on Facebook for you. You need to reach out to the volunteers. So if you need help, reach out to the volunteers. Don't wait for people to reach out to you. Next, a lot of people have been like, contacting me from all different parts of the world, like by email and everything else. And they're saying, can you put me in contact with the volunteers? The volunteers are right on the volunteer page. Now every single video on this channel has in not this one because it's not taped yet. When it's taped, you'll see it has a link in the corner to the community page. You can go right into the community page. Then finally, be kind and respectful to the volunteers. They're there to help you, and be patient. I added one volunteer last night, and within about an hour, she had 15 requests. So it is big. So thank you for so much of your kindness. How do you keep up with all this? I try to do my best. I have some bacon for you. The most frustrating thing that happens is that when I hear something in the comments when I go live and I think it's happened and it's an incorrect comment, then I feel that I've missed something, and then I go off, then the show is over and I go and look and I realize it was incorrect. So I've gotten used to understanding that sometimes people are misinformed and then they say something. So how do I reach out to the volunteers? You go to news.lalate.com/community. It's linked in the corner of almost every video now. It's the community page. If you're looking for the page, you're going to find it because I'm putting it on enough links everywhere. So ultimately, you're looking for the community page. You're not looking for me. You're not looking for sirloin. He's just going to eat your grass. He's just going to eat your front lawn. Chef Roberto wants to write his own bill for stimulus checks. Well, thank you, Chef Roberto. Is sirloin playing Christmas cow this year? I don't know, says Scott Watson. Oh, my goodness. I can't possibly sleep anymore. I took a nap right before I went live, so that's why I was a little bit late. Switch around with the Tin Man and the Scarecrow. So there you go. What I want you to feel for your CARES Act One money is that there's enough private organizations that are national nonprofits that are now paying rent, utilities, food, Christmas gifts. That if you're in, for example, Ohio or Kentucky, and you looked at your city, county, or state, and you can't find anything, you're frustrated, then says Glenn just says hello from Ohio. So, and you can't find anything. Understand these nationals are doing incredible things. LA, send them a bill and tell them to pass it immediately, says Jenny Edmonds in Instagram. Very well said. I really hope they get this done. And Nancy's press conference today showed that they're still out of touch. She talked about people dying. She had a poster about people dying, people infected, people dying. We got it, Nancy, that people are dying. That has nothing to do with why is there $25 billion for airlines? Why is there $25 billion for restaurant owners? And why is there something for hotels? Why do you have to keep on going to there's people dying? That doesn't have anything to do with the numbers. This is a numbers calculation. Will you have to file taxes as normal this year? Return for that? I don't know. LA can run the whole thing. President, Congress, all of it. Who's in? You got my vote. Jenny Edmonds. I love that. Uh, I can't find the free money grants in Louisiana. How do you have volunteers for North Carolina? So someone just asked a really great question. I want to end on this. So someone just said, do you have volunteers for North Carolina? What I want you to understand is all the volunteers, with the exception of one, do the entire country. So you don't have to ask for a volunteer for a particular location. So you're going to go to the community page. You're going to go to the community page, and you're going to choose whether you want to contact someone on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. If you're on a video and you see someone comment right next to you, can someone tell me where I apply in Texas? Respond back to the person. Say, go to the community page. Go to the community page. Because if you say enough times, do I have volunteers for Boston? I have volunteers for everywhere. So all the volunteers work everywhere. They cover all the things. And they will help you. I wish you were the president. Thank you, Miss Paula. Miss Paula the baller. I love that. And there you go. If you have any questions or comments in today's video, drop in the comments below. Thank you for joining maybe the most watched live chat ever. 2,000 people in the room, which is just incredible. Join me next on Afternoon's Check, which will be a big video. It will be taped. As always, have a great afternoon. See you in about 2 hours. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay about life for more.